Hello and welcome to the OLY Podcast show. We have a great podcast today, a great conversation, should I say, with Stephen and Hannah, who are owners of Railway Street Coffee. They're young entrepreneurs who started with a dream and never looked back. So, great conversation was had. I will also take this opportunity to say from everyone here at the OLY team a massive congrats on the birth of their child. Hannah was actually heavily pregnant at time of recording this, and Stephen gladly let her answer all the hard questions too. So kudos to you, Hannah. But before we get into the show, we do have an announcement. Today's upload brings season 1 to a close, in fact. And what an intro into podcasting it has been. The inaugural season was more an interview style show where we chat to individuals from all walks of life and essentially see what makes them them. We've had business owners, athletes, Olympians and more, so a great variance of people. Here at OLY, we actually believe that we can learn from each other, as strange as that sounds, and that's essentially what the essence of the show is all about. But now we do need to look towards season 2. The second season will see format changes, new guests, independent shows and something new. But to bring you guys the best content possible, we do need to take a break to plan and organise and prepare for the new season and all its challenges. We will keep our loyal listeners updated and informed though on its return, but I don't think it'll be too long before we're back. In the meantime, there are 19 interviews with plenty of characters to choose from, and we're sure there will be something in there for you. So enjoy today's show, guys. We'll be back real soon, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Welcome to another episode of the OLY Podcast show. Today we are joined by Stephen and Hannah Barker. Stephen and Hannah, do you join own the shop?
We do.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
A lot of people don't think that, but we definitely do join. We do own it together.
So Stephen and Hannah are the purveyors of Railway Street Coffee Shop in Newcastle, Northern Ireland. They specialise in specialty coffees and very, very nice food. And also you've got another wee project that you've launched recently, Stephen, but we'll get on to that. But guys, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Good. Yeah, we're good.
All's great.
So yeah, pretty much we got you on the show today, guys, because I met up with Stephen. When would that have been? A month ago? Maybe 6 weeks ago?
Probably 6 weeks, yeah, something like that.
And immediately I knew that I kind of wanted to work with him. I've never met someone that can talk more than I can. And Stephen is one of these guys. So, the passion just oozes out of him. And I wanted to get him on a show just to hear his story and see what he's learned along the way, and to see if together they can share some value and share some kind of bits of wisdom from what they've picked up along the way. So guys, first and foremost, what the hell got you into business? Because it's really not that easy.
Yeah,
It's really not that easy.
I think it looked a lot easier from the outside looking in.
Definitely looks easier from the outside looking in.
I think both of us really came out of university, didn't we? Just thinking, what did we do for 3 years?
Yeah.
What was going on? Both travelled a bit.
Neither of us ever saw ourselves at a desk 9 to 5.
Yeah.
We were both very much in the hospitality industry.
Yeah, at the time I was working in a bar and you were working in
Newcastle
as well.
Shout
At the
out.
time. So yeah, big shout out to them. Unbelievable. And we just just didn't really want to go into that 9 to 5 grind in an office or anything. It never really suited us. Not that it didn't fit into our lifestyles, because we never made it our lifestyle, but it just it was just something that never really appealed to us. So it sort of took off.
We went travelling.
On our travels, yeah, we started in Thailand and then ended in Australia. And landed in Australia was just like, we were just blown away by the coffee culture.
Melbourne in particular, which is obviously
Melbourne,
like coffee capital.
Awesome. And yeah, we just came home and thought, like, this is something that we love. Like, why not just try it? Good coffee was 5 years ago. This is where we're home now. So was hard enough to come by. Specialty coffee was just on the rise in Northern Ireland, and I actually came across Root and Branch on the Ormo Road.
Yeah.
They're a real small shop on the Ormo Road. I was just blown away by what they were doing, and I was kind of like, "This is it. We need to do this. We need to do something like this in our town of Newcastle." And then the balls just started rolling. Picked the premises and just went head first and
never looked back.
Never looked back. Yeah.
Well, a few times.
Yeah.
But it's kind of that's what I really picked up from the even chatting to you briefly, Stephen, and hearing a bit about the story pre-hand. It has just kind of been an ongoing project, and I would say it started out as a passion project more so than, well, obviously there's a big financial commitment and there's a big commitment in general, but like I would say this was more a passion project than a project for you to become, filthy rich or financially successful.
Yeah,
definitely 100% is passion drove.
And it was like, we're young, so what if we got to lose? We can, if it doesn't work out, we can get the 9 to 5s, but we may as well give it a whirl.
Don't have a broad degree, but I could have got a job of some sort.
And what age are you guys now?
I'm 27. I'm going to hold on to this because he's
I'm 28, yeah. 28, so.
But still so young, and how long's the shop been going? 3 or 4 years?
3 years.
3 years.
Like, and it's went from strength to strength. Like, even I visited last year with a friend. It was actually funny. The first time I ever was in Railway Street, I had went hiking with a friend, camping, and we couldn't get any food cooked for a whole night on the mountain. And the first meal we had was, we walked up Newcastle Street and we were like, right, we haven't eaten in 24 hours. We've just hiked the mountain. And I went in and got a big, massive meal. And I was like, I need to come back here. And that was actually my first ever experience. And, I'm a self-proclaimed coffee snob. And so was my friend at the time. And we were like, where did this gem come from? Because it was strange to see that kind of thing happen outside of Belfast. And with that in mind, did it worry you that the local demographic of Newcastle might not be kind of up to date, or do you know what I mean? Maybe they wouldn't react like you wanted them to the product and service you were providing?
Totally. I mean, it's hard when you're bringing in a kind of premium product and people aren't used to paying for it. So you're coming in with prices that you have to come in with, because otherwise you're
not going to make money.
Yeah.
So it was very educational. I think we kind of approached it. It was like, we are going to get a bit of a backlash. Also, there's tons and tons of really good cafes in Newcastle already. So
exactly. So competition's very high.
To a saturated market, yeah. So I think it was just kind of about educating people about why we were different and why they were maybe paying 20p or whatever on a cup of coffee that they were used to, and that they were paying for the quality and the service and kind of everything. The whole experience, I think, was what we wanted to go for from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely.
And thankfully, it paid off.
Definitely. That's just about it being passion driven. It was kind of like we wanted every level of the business to be the best. So whether that was I don't know, the girl running the food to the table, she needs to be the best at her job, and it was just taking everyone up another level, and that was something that we really grasped. But in terms of Belfast, I think was something that we came home and we looked at straight away.
Yeah, we actually did think about Belfast as well.
Because we were thinking big city, big footfalls, big this and big that. But the fact with Newcastle and Bangor are places like this, people do Portrush, people do travel to these places at the weekends and stuff. So the footfall's crazy at the weekends, and we just thought, going on that alone, there was a lot of risks. Winter time is obviously very quiet down here, but we've got a really, really good local support at the minute and
We've
stuff.
been so lucky. I think because we're local and we're doing it in our own town, people were kind of more willing to give us a go to begin with, and then when you win them over, your customers become like friends.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. definitely.
But I
That's
think as
probably the
well,
thing to do as well in our town.
yeah, and one of the things you said there about and what stood out to me was like your commitment to excellence, and that's kind of one thing that I've definitely recognized. Like whether or not we're talking about the roastery, or you're talking about your service or whatever, like you're genuinely committed to excellence, from the waiting staff to the product to the service to the speed of service, everything. And obviously that didn't come overnight. So what were kind of the barriers to working up to that? Because I know from having worked with people, it's really difficult to try and sell your dream to them and make them work as hard as you would in your own business. So like, what were maybe some of the barriers in doing that?
Well,
to be honest, staff, like we've been so lucky. Everyone kind of shares our vision. Everyone that works with us currently shares our vision. I think it's helped that we're young as well, personable, and it's more like it's definitely a team dynamic. So everyone is kind of working to help each other out. I think we're kind of in there grafting as much as someone's in, we're scrubbing the toilets, doing the dishes. Yeah. We do everything. So everyone does everything, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing that we've done is like we've never sort of sat back and watched it happen. We love being in the mix of it, like getting slammed, like getting hit on the coffee machine with 20 dockets. Like I love that. Yeah. And that's why we do it. Like you love it too. Mm-hmm. Not at the minute, obviously.
Not
but you love it. So that's something that I think really stands as well with our staff. They see how hard we work, so they work as hard. The other barriers would be like in the kitchen stuff. Like they are fantastic at like presentation and whatnot, but we are always like trying to step it up that next level. And like we had a meeting over lockdown there, mm-hmm. and like we're stepping it, like trying to go again, and it's kind of like we are like this critical team, but we're not trying to be overcritical. We're just trying to improve everything. But in fairness, our head chef has just done a mighty job of the new menu we've released. So
yeah, absolutely.
And it's been brilliant. It's really, really rocked since we came back. And as of the team, actually, the whole team have been amazing since we got back from this COVID disaster.
Yeah, it's been mad, but good.
Yeah, mad but good. I think that's the way to describe it.
And no, but I love that, and it's like it's kind of leading from the front and being the leaders as well, because like there's a difference between a boss and a leader, and your staff will reciprocate that. And I think a lot of people think that whenever you go into business or whenever you're within a business as well, it's kind of do as I say, not as I do. But really, people don't react to that. And was that something that you picked up naturally, or something that you were committed to from the start?
I think maybe just through experience with both of us. I mean, we've worked under quite a few different managerial styles throughout our time, and I think like we both have different managerial styles anyway, which kind of complement each other.
Hannah would shout more than I would. So.
But I don't know. I think it's just being more personable and trying to give people a bit of slack and work with them.
Yeah.
Because the more you work with them, the more they work with you. So it's like the mutual respect that you kind of need to gain, I find.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely have worked under a lot of different management styles. In Australia, I worked under a really harsh guy, and it just got to a stage where it was maybe like I enjoyed what I was doing, but he was maybe a wee bit over the top, which sort of took the edge of it. And we just knew that couldn't be the way we ran.
We always wanted people to want to come to work and enjoy coming to work and have fun at work. And that's something that we always get good reviews and compliments on, is how happy the staff are. And like that's genuine. Like you can't
tell someone to be happy or nice. You can't teach that to someone.
Yeah, that would actually, that is the majority of our feedback, would be how happy the staff look and how good the staff are. And we've been so lucky with our staff, in fairness. Haven't really had any car crashes at all in terms of staff, and they've all been just nailed on since the start.
But that's kind of the basis of everything. If they're happy to be there, they're going to be happy to be working and happy to do what you're wanting them to do. So
and doing a better job at the same time, like they'll be able to deal with pressure and stress if they're just generally happier more. And especially like some customers, you can't make every customer happy, but having the staff on the front line that can kind of dampen the harshness of a bad customer can really help, and it can be the difference between someone going on and leaving a shit review or someone going on and leaving a good review. And in 2020, in this day and age, reviews are everything, and word of mouth's everything, and it's super important. So it's really interesting to hear that, though, because I would refer to that what we're talking about here as culture. And culture, Mike Hamilton, Mike, Stephen, maybe you do too, Hannah, but Mike said culture is caught, not taught. And I'll never forget that. He said that in our podcast when he was on a few months back, and it's so damn true. It's back to what we were saying before. You can't teach it to someone. You have to lead, and they have to like almost learn off you, and it's a subconscious process most of the time, but a lot of people don't realize that. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But one thing I wanted to ask, so you're a married couple. How do you work together and live together and do all of that together? Because I'm sure that's not easy.
I'll let you answer that one.
Yes, Stephen, correct answer.
Do you know what? Anyone who is maybe listening who works with their partner will get it totally. It's so hard. But
I was going to say it's easy, but all right.
No, it's so hard. And it's because you can't get on with each other the way you do at home. So, it's like finding that professional relationship within work, where sometimes you just want to say like, oh, shut up, but you can't.
I get that.
I was just going
to say it was really easy.
It's not easy though. But no, I think we've cracked it now. At the beginning it was kind of hard, and a lot of people always think, well, not so much now, but at the beginning thought that I was Stephen's employee. Hard for me to swallow sometimes, but no, I think we've got it now, and it's actually our time spent together now is a lot more enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't really until lockdown that we realized like we were passing ships. We had bought a house like over a year ago, married over a year, and never spent any time together that was like non-work related. So we would just be constantly passing on,
definitely,
feedback from work or what we needed to do, what we didn't need to do, and it was just like exhausting. Whereas now our time, it's totally separate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Work time and home time. So
yeah, that's something that we've had to really sort of work on. I have an office at the house, and like you find yourself trapped in the office maybe some days, and you're like, I have to separate this from work life to home life, and like it's because we've been so busy and stuff, and we're in the shop a lot, that the home, like it sort of rolls into home life. You have to be doing a bit of work in the evenings, you have to be doing this and that, but we've been a lot better at now. I used to take everything to do with like the financial side and stuff and just run with that. Hannah used to do all the environmental health and staffing side of things. So it worked really well that we were separate, but now it's kind of like we can both do both. Yeah. So it becomes like so much less pressure. It felt like there wasn't that much pressure in the first place, but now it becomes like so easy to just run the day to day and come home and sit down and have dinner and forget about it for a couple of hours. But it wasn't easy because we did open in the past, like we opened 7 days a week. 5 of them days we opened from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then on Saturday and Sunday it was 9 to 6. But it's a long day to be constantly, even on your day off, to be flicking on the cameras to see if they're okay, to see if, what are the queues like, what's this like, is everything okay? Have they got enough sauces? Have they got enough,
so I think
your head's completely in overdrive. But I think, lockdown has really helped us both.
Definitely.
With a bit of clarity, almost just thinking like, wow, there's really a lot more to life than the hustle and bustle. So Not saying that we won't go back to them hours, but I think we'll manage them a lot better. I think that's the best thing about it.
It's constantly, you know, when your head is constantly ticking over work as well, it's like a 24-hour day.
Yeah.
So I think we're a lot better now that we've been able to have the time in lockdown. Obviously, it's been awful business-wise too, but to have the time where you don't have to think about it. I mean, like Easter Sunday, we were closed, and that is just insane. And that would be one day or maybe a weekend of the year where I would spend the previous 6 months panicking if we had enough staff, if we had enough stock, when the orders were coming, when the suppliers were back open.
Yeah.
And then I find myself sitting in the garden on Easter Sunday, and it just brings a new perspective, you know, like something totally out of your control, and it just makes you see things a bit better.
You had the road and all. Hannah had the road done.
I did
weeks before it.
And you can't live your life like that.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate your honesty in that as well, because I know there's a lot of couples that do work together, and it can put real strains on it, and you know, a lot of people work with their friends as well, and it's kind of, it's not as intense or as serious as being in a relationship, but it's almost the same flavor of ice cream in a sense. But no, that's interesting to hear, and I'm assuming that it wasn't at the start, you know, getting that separation, getting that kind of the black and white of we're in work and we're out of work. That was probably very, very hard. But I would say now, and it's actually what we were talking about, Stephen, whenever I popped up to the shop, is like, you're not going to be opening, you know, 9 days a week for 35 hours a day, because to you both, sorry, that's not what you want business to be. Like, you're just out there saying, like, you know, you just want a life, you just want to enjoy each other, and you just want to enjoy things that you are interested in. And like, was that a really, really hard decision? Because obviously the natural inclination in running a business is open all the time, make as much money, be as profitable as possible. But now that you see it's working, like, has it been more enjoyable to transition into less days opening and stuff like that, or what's your view on that?
I definitely think it's been worthwhile. This is all sort of like a trial period for us. We're only open 5 days at the minute. I think we might go to 6 eventually, but I can't see us ever going to 7. And basically, the way it's worked so far, it's kind of like almost putting people over profit, I think is the way to say it. And like my chefs, for example, like, they are absolute talent in the kitchen. They're fantastic, and the work that they do is not unnoticed. Let's just put it that way. It's such a high tariff sort of job. They never stop from 9 to 5. They just go at it with no complaints, which is great. But it's been so nice to actually see them on a Monday now, the group of chefs, go and play golf.
Yeah.
And it's just like, previous 3 years, these guys were working, and if one of them wasn't working, the other one was covering.
Yeah.
So they had like developed this friendship through work that was never going to be able to be any more than
work,
you know, passing chips as well, and work. So it was nice. They've got like a Monday club, they call it, and they go and play golf places, and it's actually just really nice to see, again, the culture side of things is just developing through that. I think, we've got like a couple of full-time staff as well. It's nice to give them a bit of clarity in a week where we can say, yes, rotas are ever changing with different things happening every week, but every single, let's say for talk's sake, Monday you're off, you know, and they can sort of make a bit of plan, you know, because obviously weekends are our breadwinner, let's say. That's when people come to the town. So we obviously going to open weekends, but it'll be like a midweek day where they can maybe plan, here, you know, I might go away for a night, or I might do something with the family or whatever. Yeah. So what do you think?
Like, I think it's nice to kind of not, I felt before, you're always kind of chasing your tail, orders wise, and, you know, like if you run out of stuff, and like there'd be a lot of times when maybe we have to go to Belfast and get stock, or even the odd IKEA run and things like that.
Yeah. And
you're always doing that maybe 9:30 at night after you've worked to 7 that day. And just the pressure of that is not, well, it can't be good. I mean, it's never had a negative outcome on either of us so far, but it's like you realise that maybe if you had a day a week, just a grace day where you could gather yourself, and even if you had to go in that day and clean or do bookwork, you know, you don't resent that as much as you would having to do it on your day off, kind of thing.
Sure.
So it becomes like wholly more enjoyable.
Definitely.
And it's just better. Like, we would always champion mental health, and we work really closely with the mental health charity locally, My, and I just think everyone can take from this that you can slow down, and it's okay. You don't need to be going a million miles an hour 100 days a week, because you can't keep that up. And I mean, like, when we started out, we didn't have a day off till
8 months.
8 months or something. And then that day off that we got wasn't even a day off. It was like doing something that wasn't even together.
There was a leak in the roof and we had to close.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And it was a good leak.
If ever there was a leak, it was solid.
But yeah, my mum always says the graveyard's full of people who thought they were indispensable. So, you know, that rings true. You can't kill yourself.
But it's nice to hear two busy owners or two busy business owners say that, though. I mean, I think lockdown especially, and I really relate to what you're saying, lockdown kind of slowed pace down for a lot of people, or life down for a lot of people, sorry. And without that, like, I can relate to me. I can only relate to me, sorry. Like, if I didn't have lockdown, you know, I would still be doing 30 tasks a day at 60% rather than slowing down, doing 5 or 6 things really, really well. But even to sit and take a step back and look at your own business and be able to have the time, like, you had no choice but to sit back and look at it. And without that, there, you know, like, we're now not, like, our event calendar got cancelled and we're barely doing custom apparel, but it meant that, right, let's work on the website, let's get the e-commerce platform built up. And that's how I relate to that, is that without lockdown and without being forced to just slow down and focus on a couple of things, I probably wouldn't have. And you know, it's interesting to hear you guys say that, because I'm sure that we're not the only ones during lockdown especially that experienced that. So, but moving on, so obviously, Hannah, you're pregnant at the moment, the shop's going really busy. Actually, you're due, like, by the time this launches, you'll probably have a baby.
Yeah, I'm ready to go any day.
That's crazy, and massive congrats, and I can't wait to hear all about it. But so obviously your life is shit hot right now. It's like, you're very, very busy between you. And Stephen, along with his younger brother, Sir Johnny, has just went and opened a roastery, and I'm sitting here drinking the Brazil coffee from it, which is undoubtedly, and I know this might sound biased, but it is my favorite coffee on earth. We store it. Mind, I stopped last weekend, Stephen, to get a coffee before hiking up the moors, and I got a bag of Brazil and brought it into the caravan. And when I woke up the next morning, the smell of the place was amazing. So, mate, you know what you should do? Start a coffee fragrance line.
That'll be the next thing.
Yeah,
but
I'm working that now.
But the big thing is like, you know, why you've already got something that works, Stephen, and maybe you had some doing with this too, Hannah, I don't know, but you know, why go and add another layer to the cake whenever you've already got something going really well, you know, like, you know,
I guess it's
the reason
for excellence and everything just improving across the board. Like, I wanted it to be us. I wanted, like, we can make great coffee. We've made great coffee. We've championed amazing suppliers over the years, from all over the UK, Ireland. It's been amazing. And I think it was kind of one of them things where, whereas we were always known for really good coffee, it was never really ours.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I just really loved everything about the roasting process. And I think it was maybe 2 years ago, when was my stag? But 16 months ago maybe.
Yeah.
And I went over to Berlin, and it was in a place, the Barn in Berlin, absolutely amazing. And I just sat back in this coffee shop, and it was mind-boggling. The guys were just roasting in the corner, so loud, and I was just drinking coffee, and I was just like, this is just class again. This is amazing. So yeah, I just came home and decided, let's try and maybe have a look at doing this, and it'll only in ways improve us as sort of a whole business.
Mm-hmm. It's like a different layer. So you know, we constantly, our chefs are amazing. We constantly get really good feedback on the food, and the coffee suppliers that we've worked with have been amazing. We always get really good feedback on the coffee, but it was like with the food, you feel that extra wee bit proud because it's the menu that you as your team have created, and it's great. Don't get me wrong, getting really good feedback about the coffee, but it's like now when we're getting it, and it's actually coffee that we have like sourced and tasted and roasted and bagged everything ourselves. Like it just is that extra wee
definitely
cherry on the cake.
It definitely is. I mean, the Brazilian you're talking about there, we've had it on espresso for like 2 weeks, and like the feedback has just been like epic to hear, and it just makes it all worth it, really. The hustle, it has been a busy lockdown for us. Obviously, we've been quite lucky to have the other business running and in the process of sort of starting up, but that it sort of lent itself to like doing a lot of profiling and stuff, and to hear the feedback and stuff just makes it all sort of worth it. In terms of like us overstretching ourselves, it's great to take Johnny on board. He's been fantastic. He sort of took on the roasting job, which he will do full time, so it'll still sort of, well, we'll be in and out, I think, but depending on how busy it goes. I mean, at the minute it's quite busy with online orders and stuff, and we're fulfilling quite a lot, but it's just been amazing to see like an online side of things working as well.
That's obviously an element that's totally new to both of us.
100%.
Like a whole different
dynamic, different dynamic, and it's brilliant to see that working. But I think it's just all in all, I like yourself there, just trying to produce a product that you're really passionate about, and as Hannah said there, you know, the food and stuff, the chefs, that's the chef's food, and it's like we're buying it in like raw, and they're making it into their product. So it's a very similar process, and we just want to put our stamp on things and sort of branch it and see where it takes us.
Yeah.
You know, so far we've had quite a few, so much good feedback about it in the shop and stuff, which
it was just kind of the next logical step, I think, for us.
Yeah.
I mean, before we even owned Railway Street, we bought a wee mini roaster.
Yeah. Before, this is way before. It was pretty much a toaster. Yeah. Not a roaster.
And we did a roast in Stephen's mum's kitchen.
Yeah. It was awful. It soon hit the bin, but it sort of there was definitely a passion for it. Where we actually went to a place in Brisbane. Do you know the name of it?
I think it was called like North Star or something.
I can't remember the name, but we walked into another roastery in Brisbane on the way up the coast, the Gold Coast, and we were already in love with coffee and just loved specialty coffee. And we went into this place and we're kind of like look at the size. This place is so small, and look what they're doing. This is incredible. And I think it's just another element to what we want, like our vision for Railway Street. I think it's just we want it to be a destination, a complete destination.
I love that, and it's even better to get your brother in on that. And I know you and Johnny are definitely cut from the same cloth. He's just as passionate and he's savvy as hell. Like he taught me a couple of things about an e-commerce platform whenever we met up, and I don't even think it was up at this stage, and I was like, fuck, I want this guy on my team. But no, I'm so excited to see I'm so excited to see how that turns out, because it's kind of like when passion and excellence meet, it's a beautiful concoction, and and we'll give a shameless plug to that at the end as well. But I think I said there about passion and excellence, and that really falls under values for me. Not necessarily for me personally, but in general, to recognize that. And that was kind of my next question for you guys: is in business, do you have kind of values that you run by, and do you have a value standard in a sense that you kind of do business by?
I'll let you answer.
Oh, you always pass the hard one. Oh God, I don't know. That is a tough one.
Like, definitely passion. Yeah. Like from chatting to you guys.
If passion wasn't there, there would be no real Street. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you know yourself, it's as much as it's obviously great to be passionate, it can also be really hard to be passionate about your brand. Like, you obviously have to, but it cuts you to the bone if you get bad feedback. It takes a lot of time. You know, you have to get a real thick skin at the beginning. I was horrendous. I would have tormented myself, you know, over maybe the smallest thing. But
TripAdvisor was your torment.
TripAdvisor was my absolute downfall. But I think, passion definitely has to be there. Dedication is another one. Like, you have to want to be there. And it's not, you know, I think there's maybe sometimes a bit of an idea where if you have money, you know, you can make something work. And that's totally a myth in my eyes. Mm-hmm. Like, you can have all the money in the world and something still won't work if you don't have the drive or ambition or dedication to be there every day and put the work in.
Definitely. Couldn't have said it any better himself.
You're panning off all the hard questions of your wife.
Yeah, she's well capable.
But listen, so the big question we ask everyone, we'll move on to that, and it's how do you define success? And the main reason we ask this to people is because, one, we want to kind of break down negative stigmas surrounding it, you know, because everybody's idea of success is totally relative and subjective to them. And, you know, two, it's kind of to show people the variedness of what success means to other people, to show them that it doesn't need to be financially orientated. It doesn't need to be, you know, kind of the traditional or kind of mainstream ideas of what success should be. And, you know, even if I was to say, what is your definition of success? What do you guys think it is to you?
For me, it's been a tough one over the years. It's sort of developed over the years. I was always one for moving the bar. Always, I hit a level and thought, right, I have to get to the next level. And until sort of we sat back maybe and thought about things, we, you know, success for me is completely different maybe for Hannah than Hannah, but I just really enjoy what I'm doing. And that is success. Like, every day we wake up, it's not a chore to go to work. It's like a passion. You spring out of bed to go down and do what you want to do. And I think that's something that we've definitely had to create. Well, not create. Well, it's created itself sort of in amongst that.
But it's been a journey to get there.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. But like, every day, it's like you wake up out of bed. It's not a monetary drive. It's like this passion to just go and provide a great service and come home feeling fulfilled and get up the next day and do it all again.
Yeah.
What
totally.
about yourself?
No, I'm the exact same. I think I kind of touched on it earlier as well, that it is something, success is ever changing, I think. And I mean, when you start out, when you're young and naive in business, you think you're not successful if you're not busy, or you're not successful if you're not banking a certain amount of money, or you're not hitting the target. But like, for now, it's totally different to me anyway. I think success is being able to run, you know, your personal and your professional simultaneously, but not to the detriment of one another. So, you know, before, I think maybe our personal lives were suffering a bit because we were so 100% focused on the business. And not that we're not focused now, but it's just we've been able to kind of adapt ourselves better to mean that we can appreciate our personal, and our staff can appreciate their personal lives and be all, you know, more rounded and all the better for it.
Definitely. I think a big part of us as well on our journey is we've been like empowering young people, and I think that's kind of like a really cool element to our business. I mean, I think our oldest member of staff, well, is it me? But, is about 25. Like our manager's 25. Our head chef started when he was 23 as a head chef, which is really quite cool. And I think that's a real passion behind us.
I mean, it's like there's so much pressure on kids coming out of school that they have to have like a career, and it's showing them that it's not, you know, you don't have to be a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer. And like, I'm not taking away from any of those careers, because of course each to their own, and everything, you know, whatever you choose to do is great, but you don't have to be forced into one of those lines if that's not the way you want to go. You know, if you want to open your own business and you've got a passion to do something, you can do it.
Yeah, definitely.
And it doesn't matter if you're 19, 20, 30, 50, you know, it is what it is. If you want to do it, you can do it.
With a bit of hard work.
Amazing. That was amazing, guys. I need to get you on stage and get a microphone for you both.
Only the easy questions. Just let Hannah do the hard questions.
But I love it, and there's so much truth in what you're saying, and I love what you said, Hannah, that it is an ongoing journey. You know, my again, how I relate to that is for me, it was when I was 20, my idea of the pursuit of success was very different to what it is now, and I'm sure when I get to Stephen's grand old age, it'll have changed again. But I love that, and I also love the fact that, you know, you're trying to empower people, but also give or empower young people, but also give them the opportunity and the chance, because, like you said, Hannah, like, you know, just because you're not a lawyer or a teacher or whatever it may be, like, you know, people need to give the young people a chance, but ultimately the young people need to be willing to work and put the grind in. But like, there is massive skill there and within the younger generations, and I love that you're actually giving them a shot, and I really respect that. So, well, listen, guys, that's been a really good show. I think we'll leave it there. I think there's a lot of thunder in there that people will be able to learn from, and it's been so enjoyable hearing your story as well. I really, really did enjoy this show.
Thank you.
We will do shameless plugs. So I'm definitely gonna plug the coffee, the roastery, because I want people to taste that Brazilian brew. I need people to get that into them, like so yeah, do a shameless plug on the cafe, the roastery, and yourselves if you want.
Yeah, well, we could give a wee discount code even, you know, 10 brew. Yeah, we could even give the discount code to the Brazilian. We've got a new lot of Brazilian in, so we've run an online discount code, so we may just run that alongside yourself.
Hit it, mate. Hit it. What is it? Do you know it off the top of your head?
That's a good question. It's 10.
BRA10, I think.
BRA10?
Bear with me, I don't want to give you the wrong one.
Yeah, this is where Donnie comes in, because he's the mastermind in the web. But
yeah, that's the one. BRA10.
BRA10. So guys, what is it? Sleepercoffee.com?
That's the one.
Yep.
Yeah, so get on sleepercoffee.com. I am biased, of course, but it is easily one of the nicest coffees I've ever had in my life. BRA10 will get you the Brazilian 10% off. Do you just want to plug your Instagrams and your socials and stuff?
Yeah, well, we're Sleeper Coffee on Instagram, Facebook, and Railway Street is Railway Street Coffee on Instagram and Facebook. So that's kind of where we do most of our
social media.
Yeah, advertising, keeping things up to date, menus and things, so you can find everything there.
Hannah's a rock star at that. I let her do a lot, so you'll be speaking to her.
and where is this shop? It's in Newcastle. What's the street name?
It's Railway Street, so it's not too hard to find.
Yeah.
That was the really technical name that we struggled with.
It took us about that name 3 months to come up with that name.
Yeah, we were to and froing, and then we were like, oh, we really like Railway Street. So it's worked.
Yeah.
But
Well,
funny, people ask that all the time. Like, where are you? We're on Railway Street.
I'm gonna. Well,
So yeah, we're just opposite.
I'm gonna start a coffee shop called Armagh Road, so you better watch out. But no, listen, guys. What did you say?
As long as you're doing sleeper coffee, we're all right.
Oh, definitely, bro, definitely. But listen, guys, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm sure a lot of people will. So, if you haven't already, get down to Railway Street because you will have an amazing dining experience. And yeah, guys, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.